Game number 3 is getting underway. Whoever wins this one's got themselves a 2-1 advantage. This is the pivotal match right now, or this is the pivotal game in this match.
Yeah, so what I was trying to get at is I've been kind of giving RDU a little flack this season about his queue-ups, you know, because he claimed that they were completely random, and I feel that, you know, maybe they haven't been, but I get it. He's trying not to give away information here. He's been playing, you know, too much of the same deck over and over again. I feel that it's been a little bit of a hindrance to him, but I love the way that he's queued up every game so far in this match.
Yeah, I think that at times he is going to queue up randomly. And when I say randomly, I mean, you know, he's probably got 3 or 4 different decks that he's going to choose from. But at times, you just have to go with your gut. And if you have something inside of you telling you should be playing a certain way, play a certain way.
And speaking of loving queue-ups, love what ErA just did here.
Yeah, very likely that RDU is just going to run back Druid again. It's very good versus the wide range that ErA has. So why not hone in your strategy a little bit, play a deck that's going to throw it off guard.
Now, this hand might look great to you. It's got Coin, Innervate, Wild Growth, and it is good, but it's so hard to play it exactly correctly.
Yeah, they travel in packs, though, man. Doom Guards. This was the abysmal turn 2 that ErA was not looking for. You know, his options are Voidwalker or Life Tap. Without a legitimate 3, 4, or 5, I think that Life Tap is absolutely correct here.
Yeah, and you know what? He's going to be just fine, actually. He's going to be able to Knife Juggler into another Voidwalker here. And the problem that the Druid deck has with this deck is that it goes so wide. And Swipe is not effective against this deck, so they have no way to take care of multiple minions in a turn. Plus, I mean, the late game explosiveness of this deck with Doom Guards, Power Overwhelming. Now, this Ancient of War is going to be quite good.
Yeah, Emperor Thorsan's going to be a little bit better this turn. Still enables RDU to play Ancient War next turn, but the first step for ErA is going to have to make a decision: do I kill this Emperor or not? And with an Implosion in his hand, it's a pretty easy spec.
Yeah, if this goes for 3 or 4, it should be absolutely easy to take care of it.
Yeah, average roll, and
looks like it's going to get picked off by the Knife Juggler
yeah,
here.
there we go. This is really the turn that RDU was not looking for, and you can see.
Yeah.
Visibly upset by the result.
Yeah, Ancient of War, not even like amazing here. It's still good, but
yeah, the big problem with this is that ErA has a Doom Guard in his hand. You know, it's actually kind of a blessing, I think, that he's got both of them right now, too. Because if one of them was sitting in his deck, not a very good chance to draw it. But, oh, that Dark Iron Dwarf could change things. But now, in this spot, he's got a 50-50 chance to have another Doom Guard. Instead, he discards the 2 best cards in his hand.
Right. Yeah, it's a little rough on him. He did discard both of his best cards. But there's a blessing in disguise here. His board state, you can see, it's amazing. It's so good. And he's going to be able to use this Life Tap so much over the next couple turns. RDU's probably going to be forced into using Force of Nature here at some point in time as a clear.
Yeah, I think it's pretty unlikely to be this turn.
Yeah, he's got Wrath here.
But he can't couple anything with the Wrath, though.
Yeah, that's the problem here, is if he uses Force of Nature, he doesn't even get that good of a clear. If he uses Wrath, then even with it being 1 mana, he doesn't get to do a whole lot more this turn. You know, what do you do here? There's so much pressure from ErA, and yeah, he only has 2 cards left, but there's Power Overwhelmings in this deck. There's, you know, you saw the second Doom Guard go away, but there's some big, beefy minions that can come behind this as well.
Yeah, I look at this hand and I think to myself, maybe Big Game Hunter is the right play, but we've seen almost every single Zoo deck lately have Dr. Boom in it.
Yeah, they have Dr. Boom, and they have Mal'Ganis. You know, they have the Giant Turtle, so you have to be able to take care of it with Dr. Boom, but can he afford to not develop his board here?
That's really the big question. I mean, this may be a spot where maybe healing for 5 is okay, but then you're not drawing 2 cards. I mean, how much damage can he realistically take? He's going to go with the draws here instead, and I think I agree with it.
Wow, picking up the Innervate was so huge. ErA not happy about that one.
Yeah, I mean, he was poised to get half of RDU's life this turn. Now instead, over half of his damage has been pulled off the board.
Yeah, you can see him rock with emotion there. He's like, man, this is going to be such a good turn for me.
Yeah. Still a pretty decent turn. Gets a lot of stuff on board. But again, his big push has now been stifled, and that's the dangerous spot to be in.
Yeah, he's also lost another Doom Guard and a Dark Iron Dwarf, so a lot of his, you know, reach and push. Oh, wow. That was a good one.
Don't think it's too good this turn. I still think Force Nature or maybe even Loatheb's a little bit better.
Yeah, just imagine what you're trying to play around next turn. Do you want to develop here with Loatheb, or do you want to start clearing? And part of me thinks, you know, maybe he just needs to start clearing now, because if you use Force of Nature, you get through 2 more minions here, one of which being the Flame Imp, which is kind of a big deal. It leaves 2 power on ErA's side of the board.
That's really the big concern here, I think, is just consistently cutting into his damage. You have enough recovery tools at this point that if ErA brings some major threats over the next couple turns, still able to be dealt with. But the big one here is getting these minions off board first.
Yeah, and you might, depending where this juggle is, you're going to see some minions move into this Ancient of Lore here, very likely.
Yeah, he needs this Knife Juggler to be going the distance here.
Yeah, he needs just one. Oh. Just one of them needed to go there. There we go.
That's even better. But now Swipe, this is exactly the turn that RD was looking for.
Yep, he's going to be able to swipe here. And if he wants to, he gets to develop this Big Game Hunter as well.
Now, I still think it's going to be tucked in the back pocket.
Yeah, just armor up.
But at the same time, I look at this and I wonder to myself, can he even beat Dr. Boom at this point? Like, that just may be too much of a swing in the game. The damage at this point is going to be worth it. Like, try to start getting this game over with.
Yeah, it's actually better than, you know, having it sit around and, you know, maybe answer a Dr. Boom is starting to push damage into ErA.
Yeah, perfect draw.
Perfect draw, actually, yeah.
Defender of Argus would have been okay as well.
Iron Beak Owl, not a good one here. If he wants to play it this turn, he needs to play it right now and silent. Well, I guess he can silence the Abusive Sergeant, which doesn't matter, but he's going to hold on to it to take care of, you know, a giant taunt or something here, which might actually happen unless Rdu just wants to trade.
I'm going to start with Cycling Wrath. And this is likely to be Druid of the Claw, sitting in defense mode. But now that your opponent is at 19 life and you can deal 5 damage this turn, you have combo in your hand.
Yeah, I was going to say, what if you just Lotheb here? I think Lotheb is actually the best way to do this. I
think this is totally fine too. I mean, this puts basically in the same position for ErA, where if you charge this face or you play the Lotheb, you're threatening lethal next turn, so it's on ErA to deal with it.
Yeah, how does he take care of this Lotheb without playing a spell?
2 Iron Beak Owls in ErA's deck.
There's no way for him to take care of this Lotheb without playing a spell. He's going to die here.
Yep, ErA has no way to fight out of this. Rdu is going to take a 2-1 lead now over ErA. Those untimely Iron Beak Owl draws and the unfortunate discards from Doomguard playing a major factor in this one.
Yeah, he could have won this game if one of the 2 cards was discarded, either one, but with both of them, he just didn't have the late game push that he really, really needed.
Yeah, so, I mean, this is the power of Druid. You know, they stabilize. They are a scary beast. You have to be beating this deck in the early game.
Yeah, even when they're stabilizing, all they have to do is chip away at you just a little bit, and they only have to get you so low because that combo is so powerful.
It certainly is. 14 damage for 9 mana is not a joke, especially when the cards are relatively flexible on their own. Savage War is good anytime you have a bunch of minions on board. In Force of Nature, we saw it in this game. It doubled as a removal spell.